Oh, that totally ruined it.
Hello. Hello. We have sound
today.
Yay.
Oh,
we have
so much sound.
It's coming out of every single device. It's either no sound or
what I thought you were going to say. We have so much sound. It's coming out of tech support's ears.
Hello, friends, and welcome back to Survival Coloring. Our normal routine resumes.
This is episode. There'll be a test later on that.
That's right. Figure it out.
Oh, that hurt.
This is episode I'm going to break my arm.
Medic! Tomorrow morning I'm going to wake up and be like, why is my arm so sore?
I didn't do anything.
Yesterday I was stripping wire
out of
the...
You might beat yourself up for real.
You saw that. I was stripping wire. This really thick 6-gauge wire, and I was like, and it came apart, and this arm went back right into the corner of a piece of metal. You want to talk about safety precautions? There were exactly 0.
Safety second.
Safety 12. I was just like, wham! I'm like, oh, that's going to leave a mark. But the problem is, I always wake up the next day, and I'm like, I don't know why I'm sore. I didn't do anything. And
the other day, I caught him throwing these giant boulders over the wall, and I just saw him out of the corner of my eye. He's throwing boulders over the wall. The next day, he's like, my shoulder is sore.
I don't know why my back's all twisted.
Do anything.
Anyway, we do this amazing stretching routine in the morning from this program called ROMWOD, which is like yoga for CrossFit people. It's basically long, sustained stretches to improve your range of motion. Amazing.
Totally amazing. But sometimes you end up being sore in really weird places. And you're like, why are my ankles sore? I didn't do anything.
Yeah,
it happens.
It's a pretty cool program. We try and do that first thing in the morning and kind of, limber you up a little bit for when the zombies attack.
Which they do sometimes.
Yes, in the form of cows.
In the form of cows, yes. We have zombie cows that trespass our property.
Yeah.
Thankfully, we have guard dogs. Well, welcome, everyone. I hope that you all had a fantastic Mermay Madness weekend. We did. And we are kind of drained and exhausted. Why are you looking at me like I'm crazy?
I'm not drained and exhausted.
I am drained and exhausted.
I have huge amounts of energy.
You do?
I don't even know what you're saying. You don't do anything on the show. I do all the work on the show. All of it.
I just sit around looking pretty.
You do that.
Oh,
You
do.
Okay, they're going to leave again because we're being cute.
Not today. Today I have bedhead and a big ugly sweater. And it's a wonderful, cozy pajama day. So today is actually all about you guys. We want to hear how... What?
Keep talking.
We want to hear how your weekend was. Tell us, what was your experience with Mermay Madness? You are totally freaking me out. Why are you shady dogging my mic?
Keep moving.
Do you think there's a... Leave it. We want to hear from you. We want to hear how your weekend was. So we'll be asking you questions, and please let us know in the live chat your answers. And tech support will read the answers to me while I color. So we'll actually stay.
I can't read. Why do you do this to me? You embarrass me in public.
I'm sorry.
Public.
The public.
This is the new
YouTube.
Definition of public. There's
so,
like 1,000 people right there.
It's the best kind of public because we can just turn you guys off.
We would never do that.
But we would never do that. We love you. And we will... Oh, there was a color. A color was announced and I...
Forgot it.
No, I didn't forget it. I am prepared. It is green. Green is not one of my favorite colors to color with. So it is quite a challenge for me to use green. And as I understand it, it's a challenge for you guys as well, which is why you asked for green. Many people said that green is the most difficult color to use for shading. So today will be a nice little experiment. And I've decided to actually add green to the fur of the dogs, which is going to be kind of trippy. So we'll do that if somebody will switch me to the drawing board.
I'm reading the chat.
Oh, I'm sorry. I gave you a job to do.
Switch yourself to the drawing board.
Switch yourself to the chat.
You do all the work.
You're a donut.
Can't believe you busted out with the donut. Our friends' kids one day, you know how kids are, I'm sure. Anyway, they just decided that donut was like the word of the day. So they were just running around, running up to people being like, you're a donut.
And it was so,
really funny.
It's so catchy. Now every time that we do want to come up with something insulting to say, it's a donut. Because like, you don't even know what that means.
You don't even know what it means. Yeah.
Like, you're a donut.
The Michelin Man would be proud of you.
It has to be. It has to be. It has to be said in that tone, too.
Oh, happy Space Force Day. There you go.
Space Force.
Space Force. From the Department of Space Force.
May the Space Force be with you.
I sound like, what's his name from that movie?
Oh, wow, that was so clear. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Hedwig.
Oh, Hedwig. Oh, I love Hedwig.
He was the kind of nice one.
Split.
Yeah.
Hedwig is wonderful. Okay, so for my green, I'm going to start with a toxic green.
White paper with Prismacolor pencil with the water.
Okay, so there was a question in the chat earlier, and the question was, wait, and water?
Well, she's trying to do the Q-tip.
There's no water involved. You shouldn't use water with pencils unless they're actually watercolor pencils. I don't use water when I do the Q-tip trick. Okay, so the question was, somebody in the chat is using pencils for shading and is using Q-tips for creating this blending effect that I did on the blue. Mm-hmm. And excuse me. And my understanding is that on the paper with the pencils that she's using, the blending effect doesn't work. So we've been trying to find out the details.
It's like smooth cardstock
of this story, and it's smooth cardstock.
So there's no tooth.
There's no tooth. It's like 100 pound
110.
papers, 110. So that's really, really smooth. And pencils on smooth paper don't actually need Q-tips. Nor do they need water. None of these effects are done with water.
They just need hugs.
They only need hugs, correct, and love, and lots of compliments. I never ever use water. I may have referred to this as this kind of watercolor looking effect, but I never actually applied real water to here. And the only time that I use Q-tips with pencils is in this exact coloring, actually. This one, and also the one that I did over the weekend, Cheryl LaFawn's Lionfish Girl. I did the same effect there as well. It was an accidental thing that I discovered, and it's only black, for me, for now. There may be others that I just haven't come across, but it's one of those things that you accidentally discovered, and it's Black Widow pencils on this particular tan-toned paper that's a little bit shiny.
She's not using water, she's coloring water.
She's coloring water. Oh, okay. No water was used. That's fine. But even
I was way up in the chat scrolling back. I get to the bottom and she's like, I'm not using water! Because I wasn't paying attention. We got you. Okay. No water involved.
So no water involved, regardless. Even without, so that's good. That's good. You're doing good.
I, on the other hand, am not.
Even without water, I don't actually, I never use Q-tips with colored pencils. I only use Q-tips for my white charcoal, for rubbing it into the page when I'm working on tan-toned paper. I recently started using Q-tips with my colored pencils, but only on this tan paper and only with Black Widows. And it just happens to work with like the really bright colors. What?
She's working on the jellyfish mermaid. And she's trying to color the water.
Okay,
so if you were doing this on smooth paper and you wanted to make the water look like water?
Oh, just don't. You don't need the Q-tip.
Just
actually.
don't.
Just don't. That's not how it sounded. So this
Smack me.
This paper is the closest. Is the closest to what you have that I have. This is to what you have that I have. This is.
Make sure there's no like secret messages written on that.
There's no secret messages.
Tech supports magic, notes to himself.
So let's see. This is the closest thing that I have to your kind of paper. It's not as smooth as what you're working on, but it's pretty close. This is the regular letterhead paper that we have here. And it's white. You're working on white, correct?
Yes.
So all the shading that I do, all the water effects are not achieved with the Q-tip. The Q-tip is like the finishing touch on it that may or may not even make a difference, but that's not how you create the gradient. I do all of my shading with just using my pencil. So you apply lightly, shading the paper, and you apply very little pigment with very little pressure. And I just keep going over the same area. So for instance, if I want to make this swirly area right here, I will kind of map it out generally, very lightly for myself. And then I will start shading it. But all of my shading technique on everything that I do, on skin tone coloring, on jellyfish coloring, on water coloring, sky backgrounds, blurry backgrounds, solid backgrounds, whatever it may be, everything is done just with shading. And it takes a while, you know, you have to go over the same area several times, and you keep adding your pigment, and you can go in little circles if you wish, depending on how small you're working. If it's like a really tiny area, I know that some people like to go in little circular motions, especially on skin tones on faces, especially if the faces are very, very tiny and you have to get all that detail in there. So circles certainly work. I like to work in these just straight strokes, but I change my direction all the time so that they overlap and it doesn't look like you can't see the actual marks. And I just keep applying my pigment very, very lightly. You absolutely do not need a Q-tip. It's like an extra cherry on top, if it even works, but it will not create the gradient for you. Like you can see that there's a little bit, you can see some of the pencil strokes, and you can smooth that out by adding more and more pigment, making it darker in the center and letting it trail off on the edges. And I'm barely touching the paper here, just barely touching it. And it may take a while, like for you to create this background with lots of little swirly bits like that. It takes time and patience, and it's very soothing actually. You kind of just get in the zone and you start creating all these little blurry effects, but all of that is done by hand, not with a tool that will magically smudge things for you. So unless you're actually working with powdery substances like chalks or pastels, and on paper that's more toothy, more grainy, then I would recommend using something that you can speed things up by smoothing them with a Q-tip. But here, can you zoom in on that a little bit?
She asked me to do technology stuff. I'm so valuable. Question is, will I know when to stop?
So
how's that?
Yeah,
Slide it up just a little bit.
That looks good right here.
Yeah.
It's not blocked by the chat or anything. So you can see that all of that smooth, smoky, kind of a diffused edges effect was done entirely with just a single pencil on white paper. Nothing was blurred. And then if I want to get even fancier, I can take my second color, my secondary color that I like to use for blending. So in this case, I'll pick a lighter green. I just happen to have a lot of green laying around today because that's what we'll be working with. And I'll use that as a blender, and that's what I call blending it. And it's not that you apply it in any different way for it to become a blender. It's just that I'm going from a darker color, from blue to white, and I'm using a color that's kind of in between. It's a very, very light green. It could be cream, it could be a light blue, and then I'm just applying it again in these very light strokes. And as it goes over blue, it enhances the blue a little bit, creating that diffused smoky look. And then I'm adding even less pressure and even less strokes. With a light color like this, you don't have to be very precise. You can be very sloppy.
Fewer.
Thank you, Stannis. I'm never going to hear the end of it. So there you go. And then even if I had a Q-tip, yeah, on this paper, it does absolutely nothing. There's no point. So definitely you cannot, having seen that, you can imagine that if you were to just add a bunch of pigment with your normal pressure and try to use a Q-tip, absolutely nothing happens, right? So this paper is too smooth for that. So you have to actually build up your colors very patiently, very gently, layer by layer, and controlling your hand to apply less and less pressure, just like barely glided. Holding your pencil further away from the tip helps with that, because it's hard to apply pressure when you're holding your pencil that way. So that's also something that you may want to try.
And will this work with the Mer-Pups as well?
Yes,
The water behind them?
yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Same
If somebody
thing.
already did something like this, how would you fix it?
Oh, they can absolutely correct it. And I do this all the time. I'll get carried away with something, and then I'll just readjust it. So in this case, we can't take away pigment. It's like fixing a tattoo. You know, you can't actually fix the lines or reshape them. You have to add something on top. So in this case, I'm actually going to go more with circular motions to kill these rough edges that I have here. Kill. And then increase the surface area. Obviously, your shape will change, but it's okay because it's water, so it's all really abstract. So in this case, I will just keep adding around and doing the same thing that I did here, but extending the edges out. So you can't actually smear that pigment around to make it look like it's diffused. You have to keep building up around it. And I know that I said that this helps, but I've been doing this for a few years now, so I can apply very little pressure even if I'm holding my pencil very close to the tip. It's just more comfortable for me. So find a way that works for you. I don't believe in rules that are...
Period.
I don't believe in
rules.
I believe in learning rules so that you can break them in the most creative ways. And that is what art is.
Rules are guidelines.
They're guidelines, exactly. So it's not like if you hold a pencil here, you're guaranteed to have no pressure. No, you are the artist in command. You are the artist in control. So it's all in your head. It's more in your head than it is in your hand. So as long as you think fuzzy, watery, smudgy effects, you will arrive there eventually. So just keep practicing. Get a scrap paper like this as well, and make these things and see if you can fix them, like little exercises for yourself, and that would be cool. So you can absolutely diffuse that, and then again take your lighter pencil and use it as a blender to keep diffusing it. So everything is fixable. Absolutely everything is fixable. I don't believe that a page can be ruined unless you like spill a cup of coffee on it. Even then, I've had pages that I've spilled cups of coffee on and I still recovered them. I guess unless you burn it to the crisp, then it's ruined.
Didn't
but
you fix somebody's college diploma?
Ali's, Daniel's wife. A friend of ours is a lawyer, and she had a diploma on her, big diploma, the size of this drawing board.
Right.
Oh, you guys can't see my hands because I'm super zoomed in. Well, the size of my drawing board, this diploma, maybe even bigger, and it's signed by. It says that she's passed the bar exam and that she graduated from college, and she's been stamped that she's this super badass lawyer, and it's signed by every single professor who passed her exams, or who stamped her for approval.
Who adjudicated.
And they had this diploma pressed up against the wall in their apartment, and there was a heavy rain, and there was a leak, and the diploma was destroyed. So half of the paper, if this was the whole thing, this entire side of it was just destroyed. And it was, the signatures were in ink, proper ink. So everything was smudged. Smeared. And the paper was ruined, and they gave it to me to see if I can fix it because it couldn't get any worse anyway. And I restored it. It looks like you have to examine it to see that it's not completely perfect. And I suppose technically it's a forgery because the signatures had to be remade.
Well.
But I had a lawyer give me permission to do this. So... and I had pictures of it before.
The lawyer said I could rob the bank.
The lawyer said
it was okay.
I'll dig out photos of that for you guys. If I think I still have pictures of that on my hard drive somewhere, so I'll try to find it for you and show you how I repaired that.
That's never going to happen. I've seen her hard drive.
Oh.
Okay, we got lots of stuff in the chat, so I'm glad that you finished that demonstration.
Okay, but was it helpful?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, it was helpful for me.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Wait.
I'm just going to start reading stuff in the chat. I asked people what
green
experience they had this weekend. What were their experiences?
Wow, you're like on top of your game.
tech support, Space Force, tech support, faith support. What were their experiences this weekend? What did you learn? If you remember whose stream it was, please tell us so we can share it. Were there any oh my god moments of amazingness? And I'm just going to read people's responses.
Please, please, please.
Margie says that she only watched your streams.
Oh.
She loves the look of the jellies.
Thank you, thank you.
Sherry says, man, I watched Monha's tutorial on water and boy, she is on another level.
Yes, yes, she is. I've been to that tutorial as well, to that stream. It is incredible.
Rain Chains for Less says the Davidsons were terrific.
Yes.
Cats Play Art says, Heather showing me how to use Inktense pencils.
Oh, nice.
Margie says, oh my god, I agree, the Davidsons were awesome.
That's Don and Matt Davidson, for those who don't know. They were our live guests on the show on Saturday.
Yeah.
They are incredible. Not only are they amazing and talented artists, they're also super fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Super fun couple.
And I totally lost my place.
Oh, sorry. Please. Cat, pencils, Inktense.
Oh, I was scrolling. It's like difficult.
It's like
Since I can't read. Tiffany says it was amazing to watch the streams and definitely going to replay them. I really love your streams.
Oh, thank you.
And I definitely want to try and get the same effect for the jellies in white paper.
Yes, I know that Tiffany works only on white paper, and I often try to remember to give you guys tips for white paper as I'm coloring on tanned paper. But if I forget, please do remind me during these shows, and I will also give you tips on how to do this on white paper. And basically, it's all the same. You just have to build up all this background color from scratch on your white paper and make sure that the only parts that you're leaving white are the jellies. So it's definitely more time consuming, and especially if you're doing backgrounds like I just demonstrated with the shading, it will take a long time to build up that background, which is why I work on tan to begin with, because it's just faster to jump into the lighter colors. But there are also benefits to it, because you control how much white you have. And for some people, it's easier to build up darker tones than it is to build up lighter tones. People who work with watercolor, for instance, they're already in that mindset of you leave the white areas and you build up the darker ones. And oh, did I lose my light?
Was it on before?
Oh, no, we never turned it on.
I don't think we turned it on. I'm just noticing that you're coloring your hands in shadow.
Oh, so they probably didn't see that whole demo, did they?
No, they did. There was plenty of light. It's just now it's fine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there we go.
Are you sure?
Yes, because I was watching.
Oh, okay.
It's still a little green.
Well, I'm using a green pencil.
Okay.
What else are the people saying?
Oh, they're going crazy. Cosplay Art says that she was excited to discover that she actually has Poplar pencils.
Nice, nice, nice.
Colorholic Barb says that she watched 2 streams live, the rest were recorded, and she won a pick from Jennifer Zimmerman.
Nice!
Yeah.
Congratulations! I was going to ask if there were any lucky winners with us tonight. Did anyone discover new artists that they didn't know about before during this whole madness thing?
Let us know in the chat. Eventually, I'll scroll down that far.
Maybe.
Lots of praise for the Davidsons interview from Diane, from Cindy.
Wonderful. They were such a joy.
Iselina won a pick from you.
Yes, that's right.
Tiffany really loved the Davidsons interview and ended up buying Matt's designs after the stream.
Cool.
That's cool. Cindy says the most fun was meeting the illustrators and the streamers. That's my I'm scrolling through the chat soundtrack.
Yeah, totally.
You guys probably recognize it because I do it sort of unconsciously. Diane says, yesterday we were talking in Emily's live stream and we're talking about Albert's interview coming up and everyone wanted to know when, and there's lots of excitement.
Oh, well, if you want to know when and what, go back to my stream that I did on Sunday, yesterday. At the end of the stream, right after the giveaway, is when I make that big announcement. It kind of took a few minutes to explain it all, so I don't want to take up the time that we have today for our private thing with making the announcement again and again and again until it actually happens, because the big announcement was actually revealed yesterday. So please do go back to that stream and watch that part of it. It's literally like the last 15 minutes of the stream, I think. that I'm making that announcement. And I'm also demonstrating something pretty cool that you guys really want to see. So you should go after the show, not right now, but after the show, go in and see the last part of that. That was the lionfish stream, and see what the big deal is about the Black Widows, because it is quite a big deal. And of course, there will be more updates about it in my group as we get closer to the actual event, and a page will be shared. But it's not ready yet, so it's almost ready.
Cat's Play Art said that her favorite part was the Oscar Mayer song.
Oh my god, it was so cute.
Thank you very much. I practiced that for a week and a half.
You did not. Lying to the colorist.
Lying to the internet.
To the internet.
Let's see if I can come up with another one for you.
Do you know any... You know the Kool-Aid song?
Oh, yeah. I don't know anything other than that. I know the Sugar Ray Leonard 7-Up song from the 70s.
Wow.
That's like legendary.
Okay, I don't know this.
You don't know that one?
No.
Let me continue going through the chat. If y'all want me to sing the Sugar Ray Leonard 7-Up commercial jingle from the 70s, let me know in the chat.
Okay, I am now using... Oh, so I brought out a whole bunch of greens because I didn't know what to expect. I'm kind of making stuff up on the spot because I never work with green.
I really don't like the color of that light.
It does kind of look green.
Yeah, like we were playing with this before the show.
And the fact that I'm working with green isn't helping.
So if you look at it,
it kind of looks like we're underwater.
Yeah, it's too green, but I don't want to just play with it right now. Should I turn it off again?
I think no, I like it.
Really?
Because there's a sharper contrast with it on.
You want brighter?
And yeah, maybe a little bit brighter.
Oh, it's like really green now, kind of. See, that's brown.
Yeah.
That's.
But it's way too dark without it. Like you can't see stuff. I'm actually genuinely concerned about that demo that I did.
No, that was totally fine.
Okay.
It was totally fine. What if I change to?
Actually, I think it would be fun for them to see us changing colors, even if you want to go crazy with like pink and stuff. It's like a party. Oh, when we do the space party, the Space Force party, you can do...
How's that, huh?
Wow. We can do demonstrations of how colors change in nightclubs. Oh, look, the jellies, when you did the blue.
Oh,
they looked so cool. Ooh. This is trippy. Oh, that's the one. Look, the jellies are glowing.
Okay. Let's go back to 7,000K. That actually looks pretty good.
Yes, that looks great.
Okay, we're going to leave it there.
Okay, so I am actually coloring this dog fur with green. This is something I've never done before. Maybe when I was very little, I colored some green dogs, but other than that, no. The colors that I'm using right now is green ochre, and it's brand new. I've never sharpened this pencil. This is a Prismacolor pencil. My entire spectrum of greens in Prismacolor are completely untouched. So I had a lot to choose from, and I just grabbed a whole bunch that I've never seen before. And I'm going for a kind of a fishy green. You know, I don't want these dogs to look like Christmas trees.
Fish heads, roly-poly fish heads.
You just made that up.
Fish heads, eat them up, yum.
Who eats fish heads?
That's a real song.
Who eats fish heads?
I don't know. Somebody who wrote a song about it.
I don't even eat fish heads.
Okay, so that's a real song. And the other song that I was singing earlier that she didn't believe was a real song, this is by, I think it was Monkey Pup. I want to be a lifeguard.
Yeah, he just busted out with it.
I want to guard your life.
I don't believe him.
Anybody who had a mohawk in the 80s knows that song. Okay, I got to catch up on the chat because we're already half an hour into this.
Oh my God, really? This was going to be a half-hour show.
All right, Sherry says winning the prize from the Davidsons was the best.
Oh, I'm so glad. That was fun.
Can mini screen be moved to the left?
Oh, again with the chat. So, you got tech support growling.
No, if I put it on the left, it's going to block your screen. If I put it up top, it blocks. No matter where I put it, it blocks somebody.
Especially if you're watching it on a small screen on your phone and in horizontal mode, there's just pop-ups and whatnot, like things.
Joe Beth got the song. Dr. Demento. That's right.
Wow, I think she gets all of your
If you're a
songs.
Dr. Demento fan, do you remember... okay, so you remember the Beastie Boys song Girls. Do you remember the Dr. Demento wacky tape Squirrels? Squirrels.
Squirrels is great.
Oh, we really are squirrels.
It's wonderful.
There was another one. There's the Bangles song Walk Like an Egyptian.
Right.
And then there was the Dr. Demento wacky tape of Walk Like a Libyan. Our planes took off from the shore. They spin around. Thanks a lot to France. Let the countries know. Away, we'll strike a prize for our people back. Both of those are written by guys I went to high school with. All right. Cats Play Art says that she's amazed at the number of other colorists that are using white charcoal because of you.
Oh my God. Well, I don't.
Truth.
I don't know if I can take credit for all of them, but I
Pencil Neck Geek.
But I did notice that a lot of people are using white charcoal on
Nothing
gray
but a
paper.
Pencil Neck Geek. Well, this is going to be fun. This is going to turn into, Joe Beth remembers squirrels. Nice.
You guys had like the same childhood, you and Joe Beth. She knows all of your references.
The 80s. This is the last real decade.
Oh my God.
I'm serious. Aliens came in 1992 and like kidnapped the planet. It's like we're all in Dark City. And so everything since then, there's nothing new because they don't have new. They can only like repeat what was there. So the last real decade was the 80s. And don't think that anything that I'm saying is actually true because I don't want to find this on the internet. You know, people being like, oh, tech support said the night. No, whatever. Anyway, 80s. 80s for life.
80s for life. No, Space Forth for life.
Faithforth.
Space Forth. Heavily.
I had my business partner for my technology company that I had in New York City was also Russian. It's like a theme. It's not intentional.
But also he's referring to me.
Yes.
I'm Russian.
Yeah. And his name was Sergey, and I used to love to harass him about things. And one day he had the room next to mine was his office, and I was like, hey, Sergey, do they have 80s music in Russia? Very funny.
He actually sounded like that, and he had a very dry sense of humor.
Oh, it was so dry. It was like if you were standing next to him, like your skin would start to change.
He was way more Russian than me.
He was really funny.
He was properly Russian.
Yeah, Sergey, if you're watching, hello.
That's it? That's all you're going to give him?
Oh, yeah.
Not like comrade, hello?
Tavarish.
Tavarish.
Okay, hang on. I got to try and, like, this chat keeps scrolling to the bottom here.
Tavarish Sergey.
Okay, Dave's interview. Want to pick, white charcoal.
What was his last name?
What?
Sergey's last name.
Blakeman.
Oh, Tavarish Blakeman.
Oh, man, I went back too far. Okay. East charcoal. Thank you, Lisa. That was from Sharon Cynthia Johnson.
Ah, okay.
Colorholic Barb is not sure whether to do gray or tan toned paper.
For what? For which paper? For which page?
Doesn't say.
Generally, I like both of them. I keep them both, and if I buy them both. If somebody sends them to me, they also send me both. And I use them equally. I use gray a little bit more often than I use brown. It's a very personal choice. It's definitely going to affect your colors a little bit. Whatever colors you're applying to your toned paper will be slightly distorted. So on gray, everything will come out a little bit more crisp and a little bit more cold. On tan, everything will come out a little bit more like an old newspaper print. It will be warm and kind of have that coffee stained background to it. So depending on what kind of mood you're going for, the darkness of the paper is the same. Both the brown and the gray are the same tint. But it's just a matter of color if you want to go for warm or for colder. So generally, if I'm working on skin tones, I tend to go for brown paper because that's a more natural undertone for skin color. But if I'm doing something that's more abstract or underwater, in this case, I went for colder colors and like this slimy blue jellyfish thing. So I went for gray here. I also try to switch them up so it's more interesting for you guys to watch. There's also that to consider. Try them both. Like honestly, you have nothing to lose. If you have a bunch of paper, just try print the same page on both and see which one you like better. What else?
I was just waiting for you to be done.
Oh, okay. I thought there was another question.
No, just my head was lolling about. Well, I'm 13 minutes behind in the chat.
Okay.
So I was just like scroll. Caitlin enjoyed everyone and won 2 of your art pieces.
Oh, wonderful. How exciting.
And there's a big discussion about how everything is green. Yes.
Yes, is it?
But tech support untech supported that. We have 2 of these lights, and we were using a setting, and I set the same setting on the other light, and it's a totally different color. And then we sat out here before the show, and we cycled through all of the colors until it looked right, and we kept ending up back on the same numbers. But then when you turn the light off and you turn it back on for some period of time, it's like too green.
And like your mind messes with you, though. You can't trust your eyes.
You can't trust anything.
You can't trust anything when your eyes go from one kind of a light to another. It takes a while for your brain to actually adjust. So if you set all of your lights to be yellow in your house, you will eventually start registering them as white. You won't realize that everything's yellow until you look at a recording. Or even if you set everything to red, eventually your brain will just switch that to whatever is normal for you, which is usually white. So eventually your brain just adjusts. If you spend any number of time in the same kind of lighting, you basically lie to yourself. So that's another thing to consider. You know, all these tutorials that we watch, that we record for you, or that we deliver to you live, all of this is distorted through technology. Like, no matter how clean the recording is, it's going through so many transformations and sources. Like, I'm recording it with a certain camera, with a certain light, and I'm casting a shadow on it, and perhaps some days it's lighter in here and some days it's darker. Like right now it's nighttime, so it's dark outside. We only have the studio lights, but the Mermay streams were in the morning, so we had the window open. We also had daylight in here, so that contributed to something. And then you guys all watch it on different devices. I don't know what the lighting settings are on your phone, or what the color saturations are on your phone. On the TV, nobody does color calibration on their TV sets anymore as you're supposed to. So people just...
I do.
You do, but we only recently learned how to do it correctly. You know, they just come with these presets of like cinema
dynamic, gamer,
and you
intense.
Just click
like
on
saturation
that,
to
and
100.
Yeah, and everything's distorted. So that's another reason why, because I'm not showing these things to you live, because things are getting distorted through translation and through transcription. The most important thing that I can teach you guys isn't colors, isn't matching what you see on your screens, but starting to think the way that I think. That's the biggest thing that I can teach you. It's not the pencils or the effects, it's how I arrive at that effect, like what's going on in my head when I'm creating these gradients. Like, why am I building up this green right now? Well, I started with a kind of a pine green, and then I added a more brownish green, and that seemed a little bit too flat to me. So I found this apple green, very, very highly saturated apple green that I'm using very lightly, just to make the gradients more interesting. And if you have at least 3 shades of the same color in a single gradient, it makes it more dynamic, it makes it more interesting to look at. And one of my previous colors was orange, so I'm still allowed to use that. And I'm going to add some orange bits to this fur, because just green looks a little bit weird. We know that green fur doesn't actually exist in nature, so green fur will look rather awkward and unnatural, and they may appear like stuffed animals to us, or some kind of a synthetic creature maybe, because that's the only thing that our minds know for green fur. So I'm going to add orange to this, because orange, we already have it in the tail, so it would be logical for this dog to also have orange appear in other parts of him. So it's not just green top and orange bottom. There's going to be a little bit of green that I will add to the tail as well, and a little bit of orange that I add to the fur. So it's not like there's a science to this. There isn't a rule book. You know, it's a matter of assessing the work that you're creating as you're creating it and adjusting it as you're creating it. And that comes with practice. So even things like which paper should I use, I can't tell you which paper you should use because I don't know what will appeal to you. For instance, I tend to work on gray a little bit more often only because I like the texture of gray a little bit better. That's my main reason. I actually like the color of brown better, but the texture of gray is just slightly more toothy. Like most people won't even notice the difference. But for me, that tiny hair of a difference just makes it easy for me to decide to always go for gray. And for you, it's going to be something different. So it's not the same for everyone. And whatever I tell you to use may not work out for you because you have a different approach to art and different things make you happy. Like maybe the way that you apply pressure to the paper just won't work with a certain brand of pencil. So instead of readjusting the way that you draw, you should just switch to a different brand that's more friendly to a heavier hand. So the best advice I can give you is try everything. Try new brands, try new types of paper, try different shading techniques. This weekend, I think, was a gold mine for colorists and I highly recommend, I think you guys, those of you who only watched my streams, but I highly, highly recommend that you do go back and watch some of the other streamers because not only did everyone work really hard to make it a weekend event, a vacation that we all planned together, but it's also such a great opportunity. It's like a convention. You go from booth to booth and you see what different crafters have to offer.
Yep.
And I love conventions. They're amazing. And you just get a little taste of a sample of everyone's art and different coloring techniques. You will pick up enough from everyone. You will never be a colorist like me. You will never be a colorist like Jo Beth, and I will never be a colorist like Kat. I will always be me. And for you to discover who you are and to really find your hand and to really find your style, the best way is to get a little bit of information from everyone and then combine it into something that is very specifically you. So, I obviously thank you for watching and I want you to keep coming back, but don't think that these are rules or that this is the only way to approach this. And I'm also learning. I'm learning all the time. Every single creation that I make with you guys, I'm always picking up new techniques and making new discoveries. So we're learning together, and I'm shaping myself as an artist and constantly evolving with every new creation as well. So in a year from now, I may be teaching you completely different tricks and telling you forget everything I taught you in 2020 because I will discover something that works better for me with whatever style I will have then. Breathing break. Is there anything else that they wish to tell us about this weekend? Did you guys get to actually relax and enjoy yourselves? Was it at all an emotional vacation, a break from stress? Something a weekend that allowed you to get your mind off things and just enjoy yourselves.
Cat's Play Art says that she only missed about 7 hours, but that was because she had to sleep.
Oh, I wanted to thank, of course, everyone who made the amazing streams, but also to tell you a story of why I wasn't as active in other people's streams as I normally would have been during a colorathon. I did check in at all of them, and I lurked in many of them, and I participated in some of them. But normally, I would, in February, I was just glued to the screen, going from one stream to another. But this time, I was out with tech support all of Saturday and all of Sunday right after the stream, connecting our solar panels because I thought it was going to be a note for me, you only have 2 minutes left or something, but no, it's not for me. No, it isn't actually his fault. We had to do this together because our electrician quit.
Well.
So
That's a fun story.
So you should tell that one because I've been using my voice so much it's starting to break a little bit.
Our electrician, who's helping build the solar array, and who was supposed to finish the whole thing, is a little bit concerned that he's not going to be getting as much work because of the quarantines and so on and so forth, stuff that's going on with COVID. So he started stealing from me, which I could tell he was doing, and so I confronted him on it, and I just basically said, stop. So he thoughtfully returned all of the stuff that he had been stealing.
And more.
And stuff that I didn't know he had taken, and then said he was no longer available to work on the project.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really weird.
Just like that. We couldn't even get mad at this because it's so absurd.
It's like, I caught you.
Like,
so
we're just laughing
You're so
about
embarrassed
it.
that you're just going to leave.
That you're just going to leave.
Anyway, so that left me to wire up 40 solar panels in 2 junction boxes with a bunch of breakers and stuff doesn't burst into flame and
it didn't.
burn the house down.
It didn't.
So I built one of the boxes. 20 panels in, 4 breakers, and then routing it out to 2 terminal blocks and sending it down a pair of wires back to the main thing where I installed 2 50 amp breakers. And then once I had the first box built, I showed it to her, and she built the entire second box. So all the breakers, all the wiring, all the terminal blocks, and nothing caught on fire.
Yes,
it's pretty cool.
It was quite cool, but it was kind of an important task, so I couldn't secretly also be watching streams while doing this. So I would only pop in to the streams when I would take a bio break or go make myself a cup of tea or we would take a lunch break. Or I would wake up in the morning and I would start watching the streams under the blanket. It's like, what are you doing? You're merming. But yes, life came up. I am catching up on all those streams during the week, though. I've already watched a few of them, the reruns today, which is most enjoyable, and I will continue watching them tomorrow. There was some really good shows. Okay, so now what I'm doing is I want the top and the bottom of the dog to obviously be different. I want his fur to be green and his tail to be orange, but I do want those complementary colors to be reflecting in each other in a way, to have a little bit of orange in the fur and a little bit of green in the scales, just so that everything kind of makes sense as much as it can make sense. And for those of you who are just joining us and you have no idea why I'm working with green, it's because this page is actually an event page in our group, in our Facebook group, Tom, where every day the colorists who are part of the event are picking a color for me to use next. So they vote on a color, and that's the color that I get to use, plus all the previous colors that I was allowed to use. So we started with blue, then it was orange. So for a day I only used orange. Then it was purple, so I was able to use purple and orange. And today it's green, so I can use green, purple, orange, and blue. And white is always a given, so. And black. White and black are fair game, always. And I hardly ever use black, but I do use white quite a bit. So I'm going to put white on the muzzle here because it's adorable. Because Shelby has a white muzzle like that.
She does.
And we're probably horrifically over time, aren't we?
Yeah.
I'm so bad at this.
No, you're not.
I am just...
You are so good at this.
Aww.
You are so good. We sit down, we're like, okay, we're only going to do a 30-minute stream tonight. And like 27 minutes into it, Lisa starts to color.
Yeah.
So we want to make sure that you guys get enough out of the stream that you can take stuff out of here, have actionable information you can go practice with, and not just cool stories. But I'm going to sing a song.
Okay, yes, please.
Actually, first I'm going to step off camera and blow my nose.
Okay, and after the song and after this wait, we will wrap it up.
Mute my microphone.
Okay, so again, I'm using a lighter color over my darker colors, and in this case, I'm using white. And I'm always using my lighter color as a blender. So it's not that I am building up 2 colors right next to each other, not like if I was working with a stained glass window, for instance, or a mosaic tile. But here it's all about gradients. So if I have a color that's darker and a color that's lighter, I like to use the lighter color that will spill over. So a little bit of it on the dark color and a little bit of it off the palette all together, and that creates the nice gradients that you guys really like. And then, of course, I also use this white. This is the Prismacolor white, which I really, really like. Very strong color, very strong pencil. And I use it for my highlights. Okay, a song.
We should start telling them what movie we're watching every night.
Okay, let's tell them.
So,
well, yesterday we watched Splash.
Yesterday we watched Splash.
Because
which Lisa hadn't seen before.
It's adorable.
It's so adorable.
I loved it. And she was a koi fish.
Yes, she was.
And she was in the bathtub.
Yes, she was.
Very cool.
Today we started watching Guns Akimbo.
Oh, and I'm loving it.
Which starts out pretty lame, but then it gets really funny. It's obviously a comic book, but it has an actress in there that I refer to as fake Margot Robbie. It also has a fake Alec Baldwin. So like when your production...
Alright.
the best actor in the world.
Not really. No, not really.
So when you want Margot Robbie for your production, but you can't afford her, you hire this girl. Samara Weaving. She's related to Agent Smith,
but
Hugo Weaving.
Soon they won't be able to afford her either.
But she's really funny and she's really cool. She was in Ready or Not.
Actually, I think after tonight's fight scene, Margot Robbie might have been replaced.
She's pretty tough.
I kind of like this.
So yeah, so Guns Akimbo is so far it's good fun. By far, it's not Oscar worthy, but it's a lot of fun.
But it's a lot of fun. Yeah.
So when we finish this, we're gonna go. Okay, so Sugar Ray Leonard did a 7-Up commercial in, I think it was the 70s, might have been the 80s. I'm not really sure. There's one line of the song that I don't remember exactly, so I'm just gonna try and like let my brain free associate that. Here we go. I'm Sugar Ray Leonard, I'm king of the fight. They watch my left, then comes my right. They say, Sugar Ray, he's only a pup, but I fooled them all, cause I'm moving up. You can feel it coming on with a fresh new style each year. It's a whole new style of living, light and crisp and clear. That's why now they say the age of 7-Up is here. Cause they love that crisp, refreshing taste, so light and crystal clear. Reaching up, moving up, moving up. It's 7-Up, America's favorite cup.
Wow. Do you guys know what he's talking about?
There you go. Now, of course, if I was really being Sugar Ray Leonard, it would be a little less white. Because I think he was like, I'm Sugar Ray Leonard, I'm king of the fight. But not even like that good. Like, he's a boxer. I don't know. Maybe we can make him like a Spinner.
Spinner. I don't think anyone's as bad. Maybe Mike Tyson is as bad as Spinner.
Mike, please don't come beat me up.
Mike is wonderful.
I don't know about that either.
Oh, he's wonderful.
Mike Tyson?
Everyone loves Mike Tyson.
No, I'm pretty sure there are certain people who do not. We're not going to get into it.
Well, he's wonderfully entertaining. How about that?
Cats Play Art remembers that song. Woo! Okay, we got an encore for you, and then let's wrap. I'll do the encore, and then we'll actually wrap.
One last color. I can't read this. I can't
read. Give me that. Tech support has glasses. Oh my god, chartreuse.
Chartreuse.
Chartreuse spelled in. Oh, okay, I see. It's in 2 different languages.
It's in French.
Chartreuse is a French word. Why would you spell it differently in French?
Okay, so this is the chartreuse that's actually green chartreuse. There's also lemon chartreuse.
That's interesting. There are actually 2 colors of chartreuse, the liqueur. One is green and one is like a lighter kind of yellow green. Really? And both of them will get you wickedly wasted. And then you will get so sick, you will wish for days that you were dead.
So this is the original chartreuse. The lemon chartreuse was like an add-on.
The lemon chartreuse tasted like dish soap.
Really? I've never had chartreuse.
The green chartreuse. It's like a New Orleans thing. It's not good. It's like alcoholic NyQuil. It's really not good. But you're like in New Orleans, everyone's like, shots. Oh. And you're like, New Orleans.
Like that?
Totally. And then they're like, beads. Don't ever go to New Orleans. Last time I went to New Orleans.
Yes, you will not become a vampire.
No.
No matter how long you live there.
No.
Okay. So,
absinthe. Yes, Jo Beth. Absinthe is better.
Absinthe is way better.
We had a friend in New York who used to make absinthe. Absinthe's pretty neat.
Yes. Okay.
She made a bunch of really cool liqueurs.
Yes, she did.
That's all we're going to say.
That's all we're going to say. Yes, we're not going to give you her address.
Saint Eve, if you're watching, hello.
Okay, So that's all I'm going to do for my green tonight. Now, green is an allowed color on this piece. I hope you enjoyed this green fur tutorial. It was a first for me. I've never done green fur before. But I think this pup came out pretty nice, pretty good. This is my insecurity coming back to you in your face.
Okay, you can leave that there. This is
This is tech support's note to all of you, but this is the demo that we did in the beginning for the blending on paper. So in case you did not get to see the colors and the blending clearly, we will zoom in on it now that we have semi-white light, and you can see that blending it with a finger or a Q-tip doesn't actually do anything on this paper. You do have to build up that gradient with your pencil very carefully, very gently. And that is how I built up all these gradients. The Q-tip thing, even with white charcoal, I don't use the Q-tip for making the gradient. I only use it for kind of rubbing the pigment into the paper so that it stays there more securely and so that it looks more uniformed. But the gradients are all created with your hand, with the pressure, with actually deciding where the colors go. All right, and I think we can wrap it up now. If there are any other questions in the chat, oh, if you could zoom me back out, I'll just keep wasting their time for as long as they're here.
Wait, but we have to remind them what tomorrow's.
I know that there's some other streams happening right now, but I don't know who they are. So I'm gonna try to let you go so you guys can catch up on all of your Mermay Madness and stuff. But these are the 2 pages that I did over the weekend, that I started over the weekend. So this was the first stream. This is the one that everyone's raving about, the interview with Dawn and Matt. So definitely check this one out. And of course I do the demo on the jellyfish. And this is the one with the lionfish tail that's going to take a lot longer to complete because it's very, very involved. And I only did my first base layers on the tail. So there's a lot more that will happen here. So after we finish the Mer-Pups, we will continue with me finishing this piece. So every survival coloring stream that we meet, I will do a little bit more work on this until it's done. And then we'll move on to this one. So I will continue working on this one until we're done, of course, explaining my technique along the way so that you guys can see them get completed and come to life. And the Mer-Pups hopefully will finish this week. We're doing 4 days this week as usual. And tomorrow is Tuesday. And what does Tuesday mean?
What time will it be? What time will it be? What time will it be? It'll be time for art with baby tech. Oh, but I don't have the picture-in-picture up there anymore because somebody was saying it was fuzzy, so I just
So you have to do it again.
What time will it be? What time will it be? What time will it be? It'll be time for art with baby tech.
That's right, art with baby tech. That's when tech support goes to the magical place of storage and retrieves one item of his childhood art from the magical suitcase that is filled with stuff that I have never seen and I'm not allowed to see. So every Tuesday he will reveal a piece of art that he actually physically made as a child. And I will also see it for the first time with you guys. So I'm super excited because last Tuesday he busted out with Space Force, which was kind of epic. And
Space Force.
We will even have a Space Force party in June. So don't miss that. So we're super late, so I'm gonna let you go. We'll be back here tomorrow with a new color. Please go and check out the live stream from yesterday, especially the end of it where I talk about the Black Widow thing because it's very important, it's very exciting, and you definitely want to see the image that I'm showing there, so don't miss that. And we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Do you know your Patreon link off the top of your head?
It's just my name, Lisa Mitrokhin.
But like if they put it at patreon.com/Lisa Mitrokhin? Because you can't search for it because they're like, it's adult content, she's got boobs.
It shouldn't be anymore, they removed that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to verify that because somebody is asking and I want to make sure that they
If Cindy's with us, she can post a link. The link to my Patreon is in the video description.
Oh, well, there you go.
In the video description, the actual active link, you can click on it.
And she's right. You can now search for it if you go to patreon.com and just type Lisa Mitrokhin in the search bar, and I will also post it in the...
It was the crane wife that got me in trouble because you could see her butt.
Girls don't have butts.
Girls don't have butts.
Girls don't have butts, but humans don't have butts.
That's right. They're pillows.
Okay. Yep.
All right. So
this
Patreon
is
there.
it.
Thank you for being interested in it. And it's also going to be in the credits, because in the credits I thank all my patrons personally by name. So that's coming up now. Don't lick green dogs. It will keep you safe. You can lick other dogs, but if you see a green dog, really you shouldn't lick it.
Yeah,
or interact with it in any way. It's not right.
It's like radioactive.
Don't lick radioactive dogs.
Don't lick radioactive dogs.
Bye. We'll
Bye,
see
everyone.
you tomorrow.
See ya.